on the list of things we just need to come back to. I need to get your feelings on, because of course we're having to compile that proposed budget by the end of the day next Wednesday. So just continuing to get your consensus on things.
But it can be changed
Yes, sir. Yes.
anytime
Yes, sir.
we meet in August,
Yes.
and we can lower the tax rate, but we cannot raise the tax rate.
That is
on
correct.
the proposed.
That is correct.
Correct.
That's correct. And so I'll just kind of jump into going back and checking off some of the departments we need to hear from, and then the departments we just want to go back to that you've heard from, and just get your feelings there. And so we have Constable 1 with us this morning. So they're going to go over a request that's in their operating budget, as well as a capital request that's in capital outlay. And so we'll just jump right in if y'all are ready. So their department is 3110, Constable 1. And
Got up?
yes, sir. And they had increases to furniture and equipment, and then to software licensing, but the major increase is there in furniture and equipment, and they'll explain that need for that increase there.
Okay, the furniture and equipment, I see. So it's not
Yes.
capital outlay. Okay.
And then capital will come to after we
Okay,
talk about this.
Okay.
If that's okay with y'all.
that's fine.
Okay, so now I'm confused. What are we talking about?
We're talking about the radios, and then
Okay,
we're
go
talking about
ahead.
E-Doc. That's it. And then this car.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Oh, is
Hey,
this on?
Henry. First, before we get started with, I just wanted to tell the court how much we've appreciated the support this year through the various FLMA situations we faced, and the fact that we had part-time budget and y'all increased it, we were able to survive and, keep the office running, even though we had 3 people out. And we really like the part-timers. I know it's a factor in our budget, but it's way cheaper than having to hire more full-time deputies, and we use them every day. So we appreciate that.
Glad when a plan works.
Okay, I guess we're going to talk about the, are you ready, Francis? Oh, are we ready?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry. On the furniture and equipment, we are asking to upgrade our radios, our handhelds and our in-car radios. Most of our radios are dinosaurs. They're from the Jurassic Age. They've been handed down to us, I think, around between 2013 to 2015 from the sheriff's office. Every time we go and try to get them reprogrammed, Graham says, y'all really need new radios. These are end of life. The ones in our vehicles are XTL 5000s, and those, let me see. Those basically end of repair, meaning they cannot fix them anymore. There's no parts. They're obsolete, was in 2018. And then our handheld radios are the XTS 2500s. Those became end of repair in 2019. So basically, that's why we are asking for 10 handheld radios. Those will replace all of the hand-me-down radios. And then 6 of the in-car radios, because I've been purchasing the new ones when we get the vehicles. But it's a rather large purchase. So that's why we're asking for new radios, because they can no longer be programmed. Well, they can be programmed, but Sergeant Graham said that it takes him probably about a week to rewrite code to put the information into the radios, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it will actually work. So that's why we're...
Word meaning work.
Yes, yeah, and with the new radio system that's been implemented a couple years ago, I believe, for the county, there's just our...
Francis, is there, how much do we have left in ARPA?
Yes.
So hard to tell at this moment, just off the top of my head, but that could be something, yes, that we ponder on using some
Okay,
unspent funds there.
okay. I'm sorry, I just wanted to make sure we had
yes.
but
I guess that's roughly, I mean, that's all I have on the radios.
Okay.
Well, one more thing about the radios, in both the handhelds and the car radios, we've used a secondary market in Houston that does refurbished radios. And where a radio might be $3,500 new, we've been buying them for $750. And we've gotten our money's worth out of those, but we can't get batteries for them anymore, and they won't hold charges. I mean, they're worn out.
I guess they'll just go to surplus and we'll auction them off like we do everything else.
If they have any life
If they
left.
can be.
Yeah, I mean,
Deprogram them first.
I'm sure, yeah, that would be a Michael Graham
Yeah, it'd be over,
question,
yeah,
but yeah, we would send them over there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Michael know what to do with them.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll look to ARPA, and if not, then we'll still consider, obviously.
Okay, thank y'all.
Okay.
I guess.
The only other thing in the budget is one vehicle, like we normally turn in for
Before
every
you
year.
move on, I was just going to touch on a couple
Oh.
things here.
Okay.
So that software licensing and support, that's for EDOC, and there's a couple more licenses that are
Yes,
needed for next year. So
so-
that's the increase there.
Yeah, so we have it for 10, but we have 11 computers, so we need one for that one. And then if y'all approve the full-time clerk, we'll need another one. So that's why that's in there, is just for the 2 licenses for the additional deputy we got last time, and then if we get the new clerk. So if we don't get the full-time clerk, then it'll be 5,500. We won't need that other license.
And then up in personnel,
That's right here.
you spoke on that increased need for part-time pay. And so that line there, they're requesting from last year's adopted budget, $8,000 increase. And you can see there that you have already approved budget amendments this year to increase that to 45,000. And then we're estimating, that they'll come close to 40,000. So they are using that if you are accepting of that request. The history's there to back up that
That's
need.
just saying what we've used so far.
Yeah.
Is we're going to.
Well, this year, the reason that was so much higher is we had the FLMA situation, we had the eclipse, and there was one other thing that we used a lot of everybody we had for, when we helped Waco with the deal at Baylor. So I don't foresee our part-timer being more expensive this year. I see it actually, the 31,000
Yes.
should be more than satisfactory for next year.
Okay.
So any other questions in their operating budget there? Okay. So then, capital outlay, and so, you had begun to speak on the vehicle need, and again, capital outlay is stored in, Department 7920, because they are items that exceed $5,000.
Well, it's for one upfitted patrol vehicle. It's a Ford pickup. We really like the pickups, having a hard time getting Dodge pickups anymore. But with as many of the county roads that we drive on that are gravel and rough, and the trucks just hold up so much better for that. And so that, we looked at the Ford, it's basically the same vehicle as the Explorers that you see Waco running, but it's on a pickup chassis and same motor and so forth. So those have proven to be very durable, and we really don't have an option as far as pickup goes.
Do y'all transport?
No, sir.
So you don't need cages or
Oh,
anything?
yes, we do
You
transport.
do transport?
Yes, we
Okay, and those
do
pickups-
arrest, and when we're out in the field, we do traffic stops. So if they have warrants, yes, we do
Right.
take them to jail. We transport if they have a warrant. If we're working a civil issue and they also have a warrant, we take care of our own stuff.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
And those come equipped like that?
Yes.
with
Yes, sir.
cage? Okay.
Yes, sir.
It's the full setup.
Yes,
Correct.
sir.
Okay.
Provided we can get it, the 2 cars we got last year are still
Are waiting
not
for
upfitted.
upfitting.
In
Waiting
case
on
this
cap fleet.
comes up later, is this replacing a county vehicle that you're already using, or would this?
One of the old
So
ones.
it will basically everything, the oldest vehicle it will replace is the 2016 Ford Explorer. That one is at, was 150,000. And that will be like a spare for our part-timers and our, the part-timers to use, or if we have a breakdown of one of our other vehicles for some reason, we'll have a vehicle to drive to replace that one. So it's gonna, all of our 2009s will be gone, and so the 2016 will be our spare, and then this will,
Oldest then in the
and it'll be the oldest in the field, and we won't have any more extra old dinosaur cars.
Good, good.
That'll be very helpful, because right now, when we get a breakdown or a car that burns up, unfortunately, you know, what we've had to do is, I give my car to the troops to make sure they can operate, and I drive my personal vehicle. So
This could eliminate some of that, hopefully.
it would be nice.
Okay.
And then the other item up there, we just have the piece here, the third year of the Axon body cameras.
Yes.
And so that's something that's been approved in a prior year, but it is there. Is there anything you want to add about that, or?
We're still getting a grant, aren't we?
Well, I believe we have a grant for, I know the storage portion, but that
But
is,
this is the piece outside of that, so.
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's-
this is it's an, I guess, it was a big amount that was approved, and then every year, it's
Right,
just
right.
the amount for
Yeah.
the upkeep of the contract.
We're not backing out.
Okay.
That'd be a mess.
Fortunately, we have not had an incident that required the use of the camera, but they're there.
That's exactly right. And you hope you don't.
Yeah,
Exactly right.
yes.
You know, they exonerate the officer 95% of the time,
Yes,
It's just,
but just having it in film makes a huge difference.
I understand.
it's a good protection to have.
Cheaper than the lawsuit,
Well, it's the right thing to do.
yeah.
Anything else?
Nope, I think that's it.
That's it.
I think so.
That's it. Okay.
Well, thank y'all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Appreciate y'all.
Have a good weekend.
Y'all too.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Okay. So,
Anybody else coming in?
no, that was it to come in today.
There was
So-
a gentleman who came in and sat down. He left, but I don't, he wasn't, I guess,
He was in the wrong place.
maybe he was in the wrong place.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that.
Okay, I thought maybe he was somebody.
I didn't recognize him, and I thought maybe one of y'all did.
No.
Hey, is everybody pretty good with what was presented here?
Yeah.
I don't see any issues.
No.
Okay. And in the department as well, you know, those radios, he spoke that that's a need to replace what they have. And like you said, we'll have it in there if that's the consensus. And then we'll look at that option of ARPA funding.
That'd be great.
Okay.
You know, and maybe I'm wrong, but I hope I'm wrong. Would be the first time. I still think there's gonna be some of that money coming back.
Yes, I don't think, yeah. Now, I don't know how to calculate for that.
I don't
but I
either.
agree with you that it's not, so
Got
anyhow.
a premonition.
All right, what's next, ma'am?
So I wanted to touch back today on some of those big items that we've been talking about, the vacancy factor, looking back at those personnel changes, what those are costing, rather, not the details, but just how that affects the budget. But I may wait and see if the judge joins us in just a bit, because I think that would be good. So what we could do is there were a listing of departments that we had marked as yellow or red, that we wanted to hear from the department or get you some more information. And so I think we have done that, so we just need to go back through those now and just see how you felt about those requests.
Okay.
And so I am just gonna start spitting out some department numbers, and we will go from there. Did these are not in order, so I wonder, should I go? I'll go in number order. I'll try to go as much as possible. So first, let's go back and tell me if we need to pause. I don't want to. For Commissioner Jones. Let's do 0210. We'll start at district attorney. I'll try to do them in number order. So we're gonna go back to, the first one that we haven't had a consensus on from you is Department 0210, and this is the district attorney. He came in and spoke on some of this. There, we talked through furniture and equipment and why that wasn't spent this year, his need for next year. And then he also talked through some of those other increases, professional development, I remember specifically. He did have a decrease in his budget, but the question from the court was, the projection is really low. Why is that? And so he was able to explain that and his reasoning for that earlier this week. So just wanted to see if you all were good with that explanation and this budget as requested. And when I say good with it, I do want to, again, I know we say this every day, but to compile into the proposed budget, we can still make changes, of course, to it after the fact.
And we're talking operationally.
Yes, sir.
He's only projected to spend 230, and he's asking for 305.
And so that big 70,000 of that projected versus budgeted was that furniture request that he wasn't able to proceed with this year. There's the increases
So,
or
at some
decreases
point,
rather.
we're gonna have to think about our spending.
So I'm gonna move over here where I can see.
Okay. I mean, that's all they're,
That 1, 2, 3, fourth column over is what y'all project will be spent by the end of this fiscal year?
Yes.
Okay, so,
And not to defend or speak for this, but that 70,000 that was not spent, if you accounted for that, he came, like, I guess you could say, took that out of the equation. It seems that he has lowered his budget outside of that line item to try to match more to the projected. But again, just,
well, his fog, he's project 2,500 and only spent, you'll project 700.
that is just in furniture equipment. Pay no attention to what I just said. In my brain, I was doing math and it
Well,
wasn't.
but the fog reason being is they asked for those vehicles.
Yeah, I
Yes.
guess that's true. Oh, that's right, okay. Six.
I mean, this is his total budget down here, correct?
So, yes, and the operating, yes. That's total with personnel, and then that line she has highlighted right now is just the operating lines outside of personnel.
I think I'm okay with it.
Okay.
That's pretty tight, given the reasons that you gave. It's okay.
Will, you got any thoughts?
so is the furniture coming or not
Not this year, no.
next year?
And so that's why he's rebudgeted the 50. So their plan would be to proceed with some of that in the next coming year. And I know it had to, I think, do with office space and the work
that's
that's being
fine.
done there.
Well, I think he's doing a good job of getting a handle on what's going on and taking care of business and everything. So.
Look at my throat.
Okay, I'm all right.
Okay. Okay. Moving to Department 0630, this is information technology. So John spoke on this yesterday, and so we had the detailed listing that kind of broke out what was in all of these lines, and he explained, the items that had increased in cost, that were renewals of current items that we use, and then he spoke on the new request. I didn't know, if you had any feeling about any of the new things. From what I gathered, none of it was all things he thought that are very essential and important for us to have. I don't think anything was up and above.
And probably wasn't most of the increase from the 4.1 to the 4.9 was tied up in
Software and
licenses.
licensing and
Yes,
support.
yes.
That's the new Tyler.
Yes.
And so, could you go to the main summary, please, where you have,
Thoughts on that yesterday?
Well, I mean,
And so,
to Tyler, and
Well,
if
when
we
you
can pay for Tyler with whatever, however we want to, obviously it doesn't have to come out of the general fund. We can't continue with EDOC at the way Dustin shared with me some information last night that was very troubling. And, so we need to move forward with Tyler, and that's all there is to it. But, in the main summary, Haley and Francis have this 725,963. So is that going to, are y'all, when we do the big, when you do the proposed, would that slide over to, and you're not double booking it right now?
no, so just to clarify what's in those lines, so when we were in his department and you saw that increase, that was because of the DA software and the GEL and the SO software that were already in
That
the
are already
course.
there,
So
working in?
that's why you saw that increase there. The increase for ongoing costs for all of the court systems, that is in that 725 here. And like you said, if
It's
you
the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes, so if you decided to move forward with those, like you said, we would slide this piece over into John's department, into that line, or wherever the correct place was for it to go. But we just isolated it here since that is
Okay.
up and above anything we have.
So I just wanted to point that out to everybody that, so total then for software and license, what would be the total in that line item?
Wasn't it 9?
So it was, so it's over $1 million.
Sorry, 7, 8. I think it's 787, something, 725.
Now, is that money that we're talking about can be taken out of bond or ARPA?
Not this, no, this is ongoing.
And since they're ongoing cost,
Which
keeping
one?
those in general fund
Software,
makes sense.
Software licensing and support,
yes, sir.
that 544, 467?
What is it, a 3-year?
Tyler.
No, the
payout
one
or a
line
4-year
down,
payout,
sorry.
something like that?
Oh, the host software? The host software.
So,
This is the Tyler
Yes.
that we're talking about purchasing
It's going system-wide.
the
Yeah,
court.
and the chart he had that showed years and then final payoff
yeah.
and year 4, I think, something like that, or.
and I think those are, how your one-time cost, would be dispersed. And so we're looking at funding that through a different source outside of general fund. But this, what
This is
Haley
all
just
the
added,
ongoing.
ongoing. And so it'll continue year to year, and those are our subscription costs as well as those costs that involve the upgrades and the maintenance and.
And none of that comes out of bond.
No, because it's an ongoing cost.
Ongoing cost.
I don't think that's
No, yeah, you can't.
a wise thing sometimes to fund ongoing cost, recurring cost with bond money. That's kind of how you look at it, but
I just wanted to point that out, that's, was that reflected when we first started in y'all's worksheets, or is this a new number that John provided lately?
no, it was always embedded in
Okay.
there.
All right, great.
There's been some adjustments, of course, over time, just
Good.
based on his discussions.
Good.
But we had that lump sum and we just pulled out the one-time
Okay,
cost, so,
good.
yes, sir.
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I look at, and I do this with every department, money budgeted, money spent.
Yep.
And I go through and I see, 30,000 under, but we're asking for 50,000 more, and that's just something I want us to continue to look at, okay? On history-wise, on all departments.
Oh, yeah, we continue.
I know
to-
y'all do that, but if we ever want to trim the budget, it seemed like to me that's one area that we could definitely.
I wish we could trim this one a lot, but it just doesn't look like it's in the cards. So it's, and I get it, we've got a lot of catching up to do, and
You can't
I'm very
continue.
proud of John for.
Right. But I just want to emphasize that we can't continue with the current vendor.
Oh, no,
That,
there's got to be a change.
there's got to,
tomorrow.
No doubt. No, I'm not arguing, I don't think anybody can argue the point.
but yeah, the amount spent versus the amount budgeted.
And when you look at the comparable counties that were shown to us yesterday, who've already made the switch, we're right back to what you're talking about. We're playing catch-up to all those counties, what it amounts to. Okay.
Any changes recommended? Any?
Nope.
Everybody's good? Okay.
All right. Go back up to the yellow in order. So, next I'll go through some departments. We quickly ran through these on one of the first days we met at the beginning of the month. It's been a while. But these were departments that, they might have had a decrease, but an increase in another line, or they had very small increases, but they were very self-explanatory. And so we didn't bring those departments in. We just thought, we kind of ran through those with information given to us. So let's just kind of touch back on those. So we'll start with Department 1450, and this is the 414th District Court. And when we went through these the first time, any that you said, ooh, let's talk about that a little more, or I want to hear from them, we did bring those people in. So this department, this is 414th. So this department had an increase of roughly 20,000 in their operating, and we talked about here that previously this was Judge Menard's court, and now is Judge Luna's, and so transitioning over to hearing criminal on that docket versus just civil really changes the needs for those operating lines. I know that the judge and Dustin have talked to some of the judges about coming in and speaking on the dockets and what's going on in that
Yeah,
realm.
we wanted an update on that
Yes,
whole
and so
thing.
I know that's coming.
Maybe
and-
on Tuesday?
Okay, I think,
Is it on Tuesday?
So, sorry, so Judge Coley is out this week, and then Judge Vic will be in a felony trial. So they've asked if they could do it sometime in August. So we're shooting for that August 6th agenda.
That's fine.
That's fine.
and I think that this department, and we can come back to it after that discussion, but comparing it to other courts that hold criminal trials, it seems
But
reasonable.
and here's another glaring example of operational that's not being spent.
And that's when, it was, being used as a civil court, and like you said, yes. And I know the courts specifically, we have really tried to lower those line items that weren't being spent. Because a lot of them are what ifs, it depends on the court cases they hear. Those could skyrocket quickly or not have any cost at all, so.
With what we operate as with reserve, I'd almost rather use the forecasted expenditure as a good barometer. And if what's being asked, I'm talking about across all departments, and if what's being asked is more than what it was last year or this year, and you're projected for this year to actually come in under, I don't have a problem looking back and amending the budget where needed, as opposed to creating a budget that has a lot of 2,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 over that all add up to a large amount of money. Am I making sense there? Does that make sense to you? You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying right now, I'm saying, but I think that's something to really consider, is we have and we do it all year long, amend the budget where it's needed. But if we have a history of line items underspending what's budgeted, but then come next budget year asking for more, then I think those are items that could be pared back, even if it's $1,000 here and $1,000 there, that all adds up in the big picture.
And that's been done previously to this, y'all getting these documents when we go through the
Y'all
request.
cleaned it up once, basically.
Yes, and like you said, when we look at, looking at this year projections, and then we look at back years, and so, it'll fluctuate, and, some line items.
Look at the visiting judge.
Yes,
Look at the visiting judge line. $1,450, $1,450 budgeted, none spent, and he's wanting $5,000 this year?
So that would be based on again, looking at a civil versus with criminal.
To improve court efficiency and retirement of Judge Hodges.
And so if that's, this is where I think we would need them to speak on what's occurring there. We do have some judges, sometimes they know they're going to have a visiting judge come in for some reason that next year, so that's part of it. But anyway, but if those courts can keep running, I guess if the judge is out, that's.
And I see that, and I'm concerned with that as well. But then the professional services, what has caused that to go there?
So for
Two
criminal
employees need
cases.
training.
So you have experts, different attorney fees that aren't housed under indigent. So again, just the difference in those two types of
So
courts.
that's 100, it's almost a 90% increase in what is that percent increase in total operating there?
From
26 to.
26 to 46?
So like, and you were asking professional
46 to 46.
services, like you're not gonna have any professional services expenses with civil cases, but criminal, that's where that increases. And again, just going off of the data that we have, the information we've been given.
What about the other, what about the 474th? What is its professional services?
474, 1460, the new one. So 1500.
1,500 and 10,000?
This is a line item.
I was waiting for that.
He could have scared the daylights out of me if he'd wanted to.
So
But
this
you gotta
is,
remember, this is your chair.
and this is where we can bring this down and see how it goes. It's just hard. I know sometimes it depends on a court case. You could
This
spend
is
10,000 with
79%
one
increase.
case.
It's a 79% increase.
No, go,
I did go back and forth with Judge Luna about this specifically, and his reasonings kept being, well, we're seeing criminals.
Well, he can come down and,
Yeah,
'Cause it's a
I'm not
completely
inclined to go
different
that
court
high.
now.
I might be willing to split the difference in there, but
yeah.
well, we'll work with him and we'll see if there's any decreases that they can make. And it may be hard for him to know until he has a full year there as a judge as well, too. So we can let him know that if he wants to come back and show what has been spent, then we can. So we'll get with him
Thank you.
and then we'll bring that back to you. And Judge, we were going back through departments that we've touched on or heard from and just getting a consensus and kind of revisiting the thoughts that we had on all of these. So we can continue with that.
Yeah, no.
But I know we needed to go back to elected officials' salaries. And so I want to make good use of your time if you would rather,
Oh, set that right here.
not that this isn't good use of time, but
Thank
So-
you.
would you like us to continue or do you want to go to something
Continue.
like elected officials? Okay. So we'll go now to Department 1455. This is specialty courts. There was an increase of about 2,900 for this department. And of course, this department houses a lot of different activities, being Veterans Court, DWI Drug, MHMAC, Mental Health Court. And so as we've talked multiple times this past year, the MHMAC grant dwindled over the years, and for 2025, that will be liable for 100% of those costs now. So that's caused increases in the line items in this budget. We had a lot of grant activity that's covered cost for the specialty courts realm. So,
The overall department expenditures are down, correct?
yes, it just
Total
depends on,
department.
they have so much grant funding too. It's just, and a lot of times we've adopted a budget not knowing what grants we're going to get yet. So some grants have come to be during the fiscal year. So this one has
think-
just been a work in progress.
Yeah, and they're gonna be more aggressive than the court has been the last couple of years on accessing those grants. They're very focused on it. And then all the agencies they work with are, they know them better now, so they're able to utilize.
Any thoughts here? Are we good with this one?
Hang on.
What's included in professional services there that they've only, you project them to spend 3,000, they've got 12,000 budgeted?
So those are attorney cost, and we have a contract with Baylor, where they bring in, I guess, I don't know if that's the right terminology. I'm sorry. Okay, is that interns or?
Yeah.
The interns.
Yes, and
Hey.
again, those are some costs that we've been able to put to different grants, just depending on what grant funding was available during the year.
Yeah, 25385.
Thank you.
There are so many grants out there for this realm. I think we'll see a lot of fluctuations through the coming years, which is good because there's grant funding out there, so that's a good thing.
You
But
bet.
but as they fall off and get added, it's been a little difficult to predict. Any other thoughts there?
That's okay.
Okay, Department 1480. This is very minor, but again, just want to make sure we're all the same page here. So there's just an increase to software support and licensing for an increase there in the software they use.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Department 1500, 1500. This is our district clerk, and again, same reasoning here. This increase here of 3,000 has to do with Tyler Technologies as we use it for e-filing. And if we don't renew e-doc, we'll need an additional $3,000 there for that transition. And so he has that description there.
I sat in on a discussion, I guess it's more than a presentation, with some other counties, county judges. And Tyler has a AI application for e-filing, and the efficiency is above, it's right at 40%. So there's counties that's talking about cutting staff. That's one.
Well, let's hope that
Yeah,
we follow trend.
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So,
But they're thinking, I'm saying, I don't know if they're cutting it this year, but they're thinking it's gonna show that they're caught up quicker, they don't need as much staff. So we'll have to see. I wouldn't say we should
not,
do that now, but we're
not now,
hoping
but
that's the
yeah,
benefit.
in the future, definitely.
Yeah,
I'm always big on letting somebody else be the guinea pig.
not be a first adopter.
That's right.
Yeah, early adopter, I mean, yeah.
How much we saved in elections,
I mean,
equipment, just
Yeah.
by waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And I also just wanted to touch on something on the district clerk. So he's had some positions that have historically been funded partially, if not fully, by some special revenue funds. And just because of the change in special revenue funds over the last few years, we're having to move a portion of those salaries back to general fund. So they're positions that they weren't adopted because of the special revenue funds. They've always been there. We were just able to access those additional dollars there. So again, just one of those things that's come back here, but I wanted to point that out. Okay, so if all's good there.
There's $27,000. It's not. That's
Say it again.
budgeted 27,000 more requested than what's even being spent projected to be spent
What
this
line are you
year.
on?
Just in district clerk in general.
Just in district clerk.
Software licenses.
No, total, so if you take the total operating request
Okay,
and subtract what is projected to be spent this year.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, 27.
27,840.
840, 27, 840, yep.
And again, not defending or talking for, but I just want to point out the projections too, like I said, are a combination of things, trends, what we're seeing now, what the department has told us. So of course, the projections are not always going to be 100% accurate as well. So just wanted to know that wasn't just our best estimate. Could be much less or more. Any other thoughts there?
Nah, I'm good.
Everybody all right with that?
We'll now move on to some JPs. So JP 11 is Department 1611. Whoops. And this is Judge Hensley. And she's asking for an increase of about $1,600 in operating. So summons supplies, increasing furniture and equipment just slightly. Repair and maintenance, an increase there, and that's due to copier maintenance contracts that will increase. And then professional development, she wants to be able to, just do the funding she had. Anyway, she's wanting to send 2 more clerks that usually don't go to training for additional, additional professional development.
Looks pretty modest to me.
Yeah.
Total's about 800.
It's a pretty small budget.
Okay.
She said she could use more staff, but she doesn't have any place to put them, so I think that's a good reason, don't ever expand space.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Squeeze it.
We learned that one finally.
Well, they're about ready to have a lot of space,
Yeah, and that's,
available.
yeah.
So it's, at some point.
Yeah, Dustin's been talking to him and saying, we don't have a plan, but, a nailed down plan, but
Right.
that's coming.
I believe, Department 1612, is JP 12, Judge Peterson. And we heard from him earlier this week in his need for furniture. And so you'll see there, that's the only increase he's requesting. But I don't know if you had any thoughts on that. He did, I believe, he was the one that said that that furniture could be moved if needed
Yeah,
after the fact.
and it's aged.
Yeah, yeah. he-
I don't think we've done anything new furniture-wise since he's been in office.
So no other thoughts there. We'll keep moving. Department 1621 is JP2, Judge Lee. So he just has one increase there in other services and charges, and that's an increase for Pitney Bowes and then cell phone charges. And so we're anticipating he'll spend that entire budget, but just because of some increases that are coming, that increase is needed there. And you can see there our projection, like he spends pretty close to right up to. It's a very small budget as well, but he's right there at the budgeted.
Looks good to me.
That's fine.
Okay. Department 1641, JP4, Judge Richardson. So Judge Richardson is asking for increases, and you'll see there, this is one where the projection is more than the budgeted amount, the original budgeted amount. So we've had to do budget amendments already to his department. So he is asking for an increase to postage and shipping, and language translation. So that's one that, if we historically have seen exceeding the budget there. We do have a special revenue fund for that. We do all we can there, and then have to utilize this line, of course. But based on trends, these seem
Fine with it.
very reasonable.
I'm fine.
And Anna, we handled his, when you went over all of what you agreed and what you recommended and what you not recommended, he had requests for 2 salary increases. And I'm assuming those were a no, is that right? Judge Richardson,
JP4.
I think we pretty much did away with most of them
Yeah.
yesterday. We can run back over that today if you want, but we eliminated a lot.
well, I just, he caught me at a wedding, and was telling me why he needed the increases, and I said, well, show me the data. So,
Okay.
1651, this is JP5, Judge Mira Montez. She has just one increase to postage. And I believe they're planning on having to send out more certified mail this coming year, so that's gonna account for that.
yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah.
That's good.
But it's a very slight increase in the budget. Okay. Department 1710, this is jury service. Again, we've already talked about these, I know, but, due to the no increase requested other than the amount that's needed to accommodate the increased juror cost, and what they anticipate for this year, so
What you're
it's
required to pay.
just necessary. Department 2610 is adult probation. We had Chip Sigmund with us yesterday, and he spoke on those needs for his office, which was affecting most of the line items, if not all of the line items there in that department. So,
Tell me again, what was the deal on furniture and equipment?
trying to remember, they needed some ADA compatible furniture. They also just need to replace desk for 15 offices. Furniture is not an allowable expense in the grant, in the state grant.
Okay.
So we pick it up.
Yes, he's requesting for us to pick it up.
Can we do half this year and half next year?
So 15.
Is there,
No, definitely. We'll get with him too and let him know that and make sure he doesn't have any other thoughts or any other information he needs to share. So if we,
is there, what's left? There's only, well, looks like he's projected to spend quite a bit.
Projected
yes,
over.
whatever he asks for in general fund, they usually spend right up to it. I think if they spend under, it's because their quotes were a little bit, have come in under.
Just a thought.
I had mentioned the desk replacements. It's also office chairs that need to be replaced, some cleaning cart and piece that goes with that, some new tables for the lobby near the metal detectors.
He's pretty frugal.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a problem.
Yeah.
I'm fine too. If he was agreeable to Commissioner Jones's way, I'd be fine with that, but I'm also fine if he's not and we have to move forward with it.
Okay.
Okay?
And we can ask him if there's anything he would be,
Yeah.
Yeah.
would like to cut, could cut. Department 3130, this is Constable 3, Constable Mailer. And he is just asking for an increased cost there to travel reimbursement due to the fact, of course, they're using their personal vehicles. So 640. So it's less than $1,000 increase that they are requesting.
What is this? What court?
This is Constable 3,
Oh,
David Mailer.
Constable 3, okay.
Yes,
sorry.
and so he says it's just because of increased miles that they're driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty close on it anyhow. Where you have like, with that one, furniture and equipment, like projected, and there's just a blank, that means they spent nothing?
Yes, and so
Okay.
that number there, a lot of departments have something for incidentals if computers or if they his law enforcement equipment if he needs to replace something. And so at this point, he could, before the end of September. But if he hasn't spent anything, sometimes we'll just estimate that that's not gonna change. Could, but
Right.
at this point, that's the best we know.
Right.
Next up, I have the road and bridge departments, and I didn't know if we just wanted to touch back on those, or we can come back to those later. We could fill in, remind ourselves what we had
Might as well do it now.
discussed yesterday. So Department 3610 to 3650, those 5 departments. So the request, we didn't make any changes to the request at the end of the day. We had made a slight adjustment to Road and Bridge 2 and had accommodated that in contingencies, but we ended up coming back after some discussion.
Judge, so yesterday, when we took our lunch break, Will found out from Tracy that the reason she put an additional 300,000 in was for the interlocal agreements with Hallsburg for the roads. So we took it back out of countywide and put it back in precinct 2.
Okay.
So all 4 precinct budgets have remained the same as requested. There's been no changes to those budgets at this time.
The question I would ask there is, and I understand the interlocal, but let's say that this year was 900,000 and it's gone to 1.2. When they perform that $300,000 worth of work with Hallsburg and some of the roads around Trading House, will they still be able to do $900,000 worth of work for the remainder of the precinct in one fiscal year time?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, and we can get Tracy to address that because she's been working on scheduling.
Yeah.
And like y'all schedule, everything changed when the floods and then the wind, and they're dealing with the same issues y'all are. And they've got a few kind of emergency deals they're working on, but we can get her to.
There's only so much time to be able to do some of that.
Right. It's not the question of can the money get spent, it's can they actually get the work done.
Physically
Right.
finish that much work
Right.
in that window we have.
Yeah. Tracy, are you on?
I don't see where she's on.
If that's the case, we could take that 300 and move it back to countywide.
But know that they're still gonna do the work with,
Well, if
Yeah,
it's
I
there.
just got a message that Tracy's headed over. so.
Okay. But yeah, that's a good point. You can't use 900 now, 1.2, there's 300,000 in there, but that's additional work, it's not,
yeah, it's additional. I'm just wondering physically
Scheduling, yeah.
if they can get all that done.
So
Anyhow.
sorry.
No, that
So
was
we'll
it.
wait for her to come over. We can just go ahead and look at 3650. And just to remind ourselves where we ended there yesterday, we left the budget pretty much the same, but we added back the contingencies line. So we added $500,000 there, and that was for if you needed to outsource road maintenance with other vendors
Right.
or other costs that may come up. Then we would pull from here. This would come to you as a budget amendment, and then you could put it in the correct road and bridge department.
So could you put that 300,000 over there, and is that what y'all were
yeah,
talking
so
about
we took the
yesterday?
3 from here and moved it back.
To into the precinct?
Right, but if she says, and think about that, I don't know that we can get all that done, then we probably would move it back.
And then if they can,
And
it's
you're right,
still there.
It's still there.
If they can, it's there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
I'd
not
say
like
if they
it
think they can get
disappeared.
it done, leave it where it is. And
Well, and the good thing too, because there's not a commissioner in that spot right now, it would be good for the court to really understand, what's happening and those kind of things to kind of help through the thinking.
Well, I think they're ready and geared up and ready to go. And they want to work. They
Yeah,
want to get it
I
done.
talked to
I'm excited for them. So.
one of the vendors.
Morning. Catch your breath.
We don't need to run.
Breathe, Tracy. And then,
Golly.
as we left it yesterday too, it was, if there's large projects, like Zane had presented the project listing for this year and future years, we will continue to utilize, bond funds for those projects, instead of housing them here, so.
I think I ran.
At least you had the right shoes on today, I noticed, so that was good.
I've got tennis shoes on, yeah.
That's smarter, yeah.
I would have broken my neck trying to get over here
Take your time. Did you understand what I was asking?
I did. And I understand, and I agree. If we were looking at the road and bridge crew that we have been dealing with prior to.
Okay.
What I learned is that historically, when it comes to October to December, a lot of our crews were not hauling. They were not doing the things of the preventative maintenance that could have been done. They were doing more shredding, just things that the other precincts 1, 3, and 4 are normally doing to maintain the county. Precinct 2 was not doing. And so, excuse me. And so once I looked at it and saw that we can design a schedule that production's not stopping just in the fall months. It doesn't matter if it's
It may
cold
slow
or
down a little bit, but
correct.
it's not gonna.
Well, precinct 2 pretty much came to a halt in those months. And the direction from my predecessors were, well, we can't do this, or we can't do this because of the temperature or things of that nature. So it was just a different management style at that time. And I feel like with the leadership that we have in place and the leadership that hopefully we're going to keep in place moving forward, we should be operating 12 months out of the fiscal year and not 6. And so what you're looking at historically was us operating 6 months out of the year. Production was not continuing on throughout the entire year. And so also with the interlocal agreement with Hallsburg, but also with the interlocal agreement that I know that the Shane James, the city manager of Mart, is going to be wanting to see if we can come into an interlocal agreement with them as well. And so there are just some things that we were not doing historically that I feel that we should and we will be doing when we start into our new fiscal year. You'll be able to see a huge difference, and you'll be able to see the production increase and go up once you're looking at a completely full year of different leadership. Does that make sense?
It does. And what I was, I guess, trying to point out, I know our budget's somewhere around 900,000 for aggregate or materials. And, but if you're doing Hallsburg and Mart, then you're not being able to work on your own. So that eliminates that material that you had planned to work on your own, cost-wise. But if you think you can do it all in that window of time, then that makes sense for the 1.2.
Yes, sir. Well, it's not, yes, well, it's not just completely focusing all of our manpower on Hallsburg or Mart.
Right.
It's coming with those interlocal agreements and helping them with their funds to fix their roads. Now, most of the time, they have the manpower, but they don't have the money immediately.
Do they have the equipment?
They have some equipment, yes, but sometimes they'll be using equipment from us as well. And so I believe what I've learned historically is that we front up that money and then they refund that money. Is that
Yeah, they'll pay us back.
correct? But we have to have the money in order to even float. So if we don't have it to provide to them, then we can't honor in a local agreement with those cities. And also the corridor around the trading house, like a judge and I had a really in-depth conversation, and I had talked about this with you all yesterday, is that it's a really beautiful attraction for Precinct 2, but at the county as a whole. And so we need to invest those dollars in fixing those roads, not just to enhance the park, but to fix the roads for the constituents that live on those roads as well. And I had just got an email from, a text message from a city council person in Hallsburg this morning, and I can read it to you.
Rick? How'd I know it was Rick?
I said city
He's got
council
all our
person.
numbers.
And
Wonder
so,
when he sells tires.
Busy guy.
yes, and actually it was an email, I'm sorry. He usually sends a text, but it was an email. And he stated, Summerfield Road
Summerfield is a direct link to the county park. It has been close to 40 years since it has been totally redone. Nothing but patching has turned out to be the worst road in McLennan County, and I travel them all any way to get this road at the top of the list. Well, I was very proud to email back to him very quickly at 7:06 this morning that we are that we already have this on the list. This is a meeting that we've had with the judge personally, and we are putting that at the top of the list for FY25 to fix all of the roads. Now, of course, we may not be able to do it all at one time. However, and if we need to seek a third party, then that's something that I'll bring back to the court so that we can do that. But those roads are primary on our list for FY25. And so with that, that's why I asked for the increase, making sure that we have adequate funds to honor interlocal agreements with smaller cities in our community within Precinct 2, but also allocate those funds as well to other projects that need to be done, whether it's our crew or whether we have to seek that out to a third party.
And the discussion, Tracy, was in that $300,000, it could be in that budget, or it could be in the,
Countywide.
it's called countywide, and all we do is just drop it down into the precinct too. It was just, either way,
Either way,
we
it's
get the
there.
money.
Either way, it's there.
Yeah. We like to use, our idea is countywide it's a special fund for, non-typical, I'm thinking this is my definition, but it's kind of a non-typical thing that we're gonna do, and it might address a low water crossing in Commissioner
Sure.
Jones' area that's popped up, and he didn't really have it budgeted, and we can do that. We don't have to worry, he doesn't have to sweat the budget inside because we got the money. And larger interlocals could be the same thing. And so,
Sure.
I don't think there's a question whether we're gonna provide the money or not, it's just which spot we're gonna do
No,
it.
and quite
And-
honestly, in my opinion, and I think we mostly all concur on this, that countywide road and bridge lends itself more to precinct 2 this year than anybody
Yeah.
else in an effort to, your guys are, you know how much work needs to be done. And so
Correct.
if there's a small project that Zane could find a third-party vendor to come in and do, we would use it out of that and not your budget. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I want to make sure that there is money available for when we need to seek out a third party, that money is still available for precinct 2. That's
Yeah.
my only concern. If we take it out and then we put it into countywide and there is another pressing matter that comes of urgency in 1, 3, or 4, then that money that we could have had for precinct 2 is no longer there. So that's my only reservation as to moving that out of precinct 2's budget.
I'll defend that 300,000 to,
Well, and truly, this is about, to me this year, that countywide is more about what more work can we help you guys get done
It
through the
might-
use of outside vendors.
Yeah, it
to
could
get
be.
you guys caught up, because you know it's way behind.
and we have to find the special project, but where it might be an outside vendor that comes in and takes care of that piece where you can pull it out of your work schedule to allow you to do more. The thing about the Hallsburg deal is you touched on, but we all agree, is that's a countywide park. And so there's more than the reason's more than just the constituents there, it's also the visitors that come in there. And when you go to Google Map, it carries you over to Harrison Road and then down Summerfield, when actually the best way is to come down the state road in front of John Embry's house by the Hallsburg School. Drop down to Hall Road, drop straight into the park.
Right. Residents would know that, but not the visitors.
Pardon me?
As a residents would probably know that route, but not our visitors that are Googling to come
Yeah,
in and,
yeah.
and experience the park.
I view the lake pretty much like I do the heart of Texas, call it the
Yeah.
Exco.
Yeah.
It's owned by the county, and our public needs to have decent access
Yeah.
to both.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
And be sure things are there that the general public can use, the
Exactly, yeah.
Entertainment.
Exactly.
opportunities.
As far as ours, I think historically, Tracy, we've always touched on our own contingency when we've needed to increase our aggregates or materials or something like that. We haven't, I don't think, and Francis could tell me, I don't think we've tried to touch the countywide. We've dipped into our own contingency when we've needed to add material and everything, so.
And just to, there's different ways we could do this, but when you have these interlocal agreements, too, because it's not something we budget the revenue for, because it's hard to know what those will be and which ones will pan out and which ones won't, what the amount will be. So we don't budget anything for the revenue, and so when that revenue comes in, if you have a $50,000 interlocal, when it comes in, most of the time, your departments we've been certifying that revenue.
Back
So when
into
you
our
certify
department.
revenue, you're able to increase the total budget
Right.
outside of the original adopted budget. So we're saying that's revenue that we didn't budget for, it wasn't included in the original package, and so then we set up a budget for it. And so a lot of times, you all have done that, and then we've increased road construction materials or whatever line item was utilized for that project, so.
Yeah, I think historically, when we've done interlocals, that money has come back after we certify it back into that precinct.
Yes, yes. We used to try to budget some for the revenue, which wouldn't allow us to certify it, but it's really hard to know what those are gonna be.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the other thing is just, can you get to all the work that needs to be done out there? And I think
Realistically,
do it over
no.
time, but it's gonna take several years.
If I'm being transparent, realistically, no. We will definitely have to seek out a third party this coming fiscal year.
Yeah.
That's no doubt.
Yeah.
We'd be working our crew members very hard, and there's some other words I'm having in my mind, but I'm not going to say that on court. So we'll be working them very, very hard if we try to get all that done, because we're talking about years of.
I bet y'all make a dent in it, though.
We will make a dent.
I know
We
you
will
will.
make a dent in it, but to make sure that the taxpayers understand and see that we're funneling their taxpayer dollars responsibly, we will need to get a third party very quickly, starting out FY25, to make sure that we're caught up on some things, and that's just being truthful, so that we can get precinct 2 looking like the other precincts in the county, and our constituents can be proud of where they live as well. And so I'm not really sure how you all want to funnel that with a $300,000 increase, but
But
Well, just keep in mind, as we said, the vendors are not gonna be drawn out of your budget. They'll come out of the countywide.
yeah,
So
so
that allows you your money and your time and workforce to do more, because the third-party vendor's gonna do time and work and all those things, and the money's coming from another source.
okay.
how about we just put your road materials at $1 million and move the 200 back into countywide, knowing that if you need it, it's coming back to you anyway? Would that be?
I think that's logic. We can work with that for sure.
Because sometimes your interlocals get thrown behind too. We've been trying to get to Woodway for 2 years to do something over there, and just because of the events that occur, we just got there.
Yeah,
So-
Understood.
I don't know how many interlocals we'll be able to do.
Yeah.
It's just hard.
Yeah.
Understood.
So we're
I
at
agree with that.
1.1 and y'all are at 1.1. And precinct 1 is at 941, which is the same as last year.
And like I said, if we can get more done and need it, we'll dip into our contingency to try to take care of it. So,
That's what we've done too.
Would you be okay with that?
I'd be okay with that.
Knowing
yes.
that if you need it, it's there.
Okay, that works. I'd like to sit with Zane too, and really come up with a realistic outline. Just getting the county engineer's eyes and opinion and expertise on making sure that we have certain roads that really need our immediate attention at the top of that list.
Yeah.
So,
Good deal.
I don't,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Make some happy people out there.
that's the goal. That's the goal. So, I appreciate you all.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and thank you for your efforts.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It's above and beyond. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your record-breaking sprint over here.
As long as it wasn't a
I might be a little sore
ankle-breaking
walking
sprint.
back. I was jetting out so fast. Misty was on the other side. She said, "Stop," because a car was coming. That wouldn't have been good.
Oh, no,
So I got here in one piece today. Y'all have a great day. Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
So we'll make that adjustment, and again, that keeps those budgets flush from where they were yesterday. It's just moving it between lines. So,
It's still there.
I have a question, actually. I'm sorry. I was also kind of wanting to get some clarity on the positions that we have posted right now. I'm still able to fill those 2 positions that are open, correct? The 2 heavy truck drivers. Wanted to make sure we're able to still do that because we have interviews scheduled next week.
I think that was the.
Yeah, I think that was understandable.
Okay,
Right, but you still have 2 others that are vacant.
those are the 2.
Those are
Those
the
are the
2.
last 2.
Okay,
That makes it, okay,
that
so that
changes
is a
things.
discussion.
So what we did is we went and looked at ratios of miles to employees.
Okay.
I wish I had the ratios again.
It's on Chrissy's email.
15.33, wasn't it?
Yeah, right at 16.
16 employees.
So there's 16 employees for every mile of road, or is it
Or the other way.
the other way around?
Okay.
And we're trying to level it out this year because if precinct 4 went by the same ratios that 1 and 3 are in, I would need 6 new employees. We can't do that.
Okay.
By the ratio, it shows that precinct 2 is overstaffed for road and bridge, employee per mile of road. Because I think you guys have 211 miles.
211, correct.
And so we're working off of a ratio, and I hate to sit here and be the one to explain this to you because I end up benefiting, but we're trying to make all the precincts have the same ratio of employees to miles of road.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
How does that affect precinct 2?
What you have employed right now, I believe, is where you would be. So you wouldn't have the 2 new positions that you're trying to fill. You would be full, and it gets you to 16
I'm currently at
miles of road for every employee.
We had that.
Okay.
And I'm at 20. So we're trying to get, these guys are already at 16,
Right at it.
right at it. So
Okay.
we're trying to get everybody on the same playing field when it comes to employees per mile of road for production reasons.
Okay. So am I still able to fill those positions because they're already posted? I guess that's what I'm trying to get clarity. Are we still able to fill those positions that are already posted now for precinct 2, or are those positions being taken away?
2 of them that you have interviews for, those are staying.
Okay, that's
And then-
perfect.
And then,
There's only 2.
Right, there's only 2
Filled a lot of
vacancies.
positions.
well, I thought there were 4 vacancies.
No, there's only 2
So she's
vacancies.
got, with what she last filled, she's got 14. I'm requesting 2 more, but at 14, that's 224 miles of road. It's based on 16 miles. So that would fill her in regards to the ratio.
Where is that?
We would all be on the same ratio is what it would make.
But we also understand that conditions over there are different from the others, and that's where we would look into third party and funding them out of a higher level of funds.
You got it?
Yeah. It's the email that Anna sent.
Was it Anna?
Chrissy sent one too.
It's employees per mile. Number of employees per mile. And we came up with a 16.
Point.
Anna, can you?
16
speak
was
that?
our agreed upon.
It's a fraction over 16. And so calculating that, then she wouldn't be able to fill those last 2 positions.
If we're gonna have everybody under the same ratios.
Well, makes sense, you know. There were so many departments that did similar work that were out of balance, or had more, and that was one of the reasons, but, so you have to take, well, what is different about each one of them, and that's a concern that Precinct Two's got, is that, I guess the initial reason why the request was at 16 was to fully staff and get caught up. So if we don't go with that, if we stay with that ratio, then it means the only way that Precinct Two is gonna get caught up in a reasonable time would be to utilize outside contractor.
Right, which is the whole point of the countywide,
Yeah, the countywide.
is to accommodate for that. So what happens, you catch up eventually, and now you've got all this staff that you hired to catch up, and we know we're not gonna get rid of them, because it just
Yeah.
never works out that way.
I don't know if we'll ever catch up, Commissioner.
And I don't think we will either. You know, and that's, what's driving this is it's unfortunate, but we've got to have help out in four. We've got 18 employees and 400 miles of road. And so that's why we're trying to get ratios leveled out to where we're all working on the same level with regards to employees per mile of road. And it may have to be tweaked, but this is the first year that we've ever said, hey, let's all make sure everybody's working with the same ratios.
So you mentioned getting Zane involved, and, you know, now that he's fully staffed, that's what I'm trying to analyze right now, to get with you and Ronnie and Zane, and we look at what projects can we pull out of your responsibility and handle them a different way. Otherwise, we're not ever gonna get caught up. And so engineer can say, these are the most
I don't know if
complex,
that's,
let's
the
get
current
third party to
staffing
handle
level
more
or
complex
what level.
issues.
That's the,
And then we
you know,
can
that honestly.
stick to what we do, that we do the best and the fastest.
Okay. In that ratio, are we factoring in our dispatcher and our mechanic? Are we taking them out because they're not part of that road building crew?
Correct.
I think only road building
Only road
positions were considered for the ratio.
Yeah.
That's correct. Anything else?
So just to confirm, the ratios currently, precinct 1 and precinct 3 are at about the 16 miles per employee ratio. Precinct 2 is currently at 13 and a quarter. If 2 positions were removed, that would change their ratio to 15 miles per 1 employee. If 4 positions were added to precinct 4, that would bring their ratio to 18 miles for every employee.
And we're at 22 now, correct?
So adding 4 would still put them above.
Yes,
We would still have more road.
that's right.
On the ratio, I'd still need more employees, but we're not gonna do that.
Right.
So even the two, I guess, so the two, Anna, and can you speak on this? The 2 positions, which are the heavy truck drivers, those are already factored into precinct 2's budget, correct?
We're showing right now.
They're currently active in your budget, they're vacant, but are you talking about them active in this ratio?
No,
Okay.
just in the budget.
Yes, they are
Okay.
currently budgeted for, which is why it's posted.
Okay,
And we were helping you recruit for it.
right, okay. So even though they're budgeted for, we're still not able to fill those because they're not new positions, they're just vacancies that haven't been filled.
I think, yeah, and I think they're vacancies. To get us back even, Tracy, we need to pull them so we can be even.
See, right now you have 13, what am I reading right here?
So
Yeah,
that's,
there's 13 miles of road for every employee you have. Everybody else is either at 16, almost 17, and 22. So you can dedicate more employees to per mile of road than the rest of us can.
So that means they can keep the 2 positions?
No.
Okay, I'm
That
just,
would be,
even adding 4 to yours
yeah,
only gets your ratio to, it still keeps your ratio 18.
at 18.
But like he said the other day, for this year, you know, it'd be hard for him to train any more than that.
Right,
So he would
right.
start blending his in where we start blending these others out.
Right.
But you know, there again, we've got to take consideration of conditions.
Well, and I would be very protective of what she has right now if we weren't willing to dedicate the countywide road and
Yeah,
bridge
yeah.
to your precinct.
And probably for a couple of years.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I need to call those employees and tell them,
Well,
potential employees, candidates.
No, they're applicants.
yeah,
not
they're,
employees.
We're right, so
they're still
potential.
gonna get an interview.
They're still gonna get an interview.
Yes.
Okay.
It'd be just assigned to a different precinct. Did you know them?
No,
You don't know them?
personally, no.
Okay.
We could move forward with the interview and we can let them know that there's actual potential change with the new fiscal year and it may be assigned to a different precinct or the position may be dedicated to precinct 4 rather than precinct 2. We'll probably call them ahead because location is a huge factor with why these folks apply.
Yeah.
And so we would still inquire with them as to whether or not there was still an interest if the position was based out of precinct 4 rather than precinct 2. If there was still an interest, we would recommend moving forward because we wouldn't want to lose those applicants. But at that point, if they were interested, then at that point it'd be and we had been interviewing with Commissioner for some of these titles. So we would just loop in Commissioner Perry for the interviews.
I would hope that would work out. Make life easier,
Then we get,
simpler for everybody.
then we can start in Beaumont on our ditch work.
Okay.
Sorry. But part of part of the thing we're explaining in precinct 4, literally you can start in Beaumont doing ditch work and you would stop once you got to El Paso. We've got 400 or 800 miles of ditch work and we don't even have a ditch crew. So we're just way behind and we're trying to figure out a way to do this to keep all of us on a level playing field, but also not incur additional head count if we don't have to.
Okay.
Now, I will say this, and I don't know how the rest of you feel, if the outside vendor piece doesn't work and help you get caught up, then we may have to
We may have
revisit.
to look at something. I don't know why an outside vendor couldn't.
Right, but
Unless they come in and their cost is exorbitant versus what we can do it for.
Well, it will be because we don't put everything in what the cost is.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good idea of what, yeah.
well, but just like Waco paving the other day, they'll do short sections of road as well, and they're pretty doggone reasonable,
Good.
Yeah, yeah.
so.
Okay.
That's a complete and opposite, this is a complete and opposite way of thinking than in the past, so I wanted ready, so.
But I think the thinking in the past had shortchanged a precinct in particular.
Yeah.
And that's the reason we're
Oh,
trying
yeah,
to.
right, it shortchanged all of them.
Right. And back in the old days, you didn't ask for a staff because then everybody, well, I get one too. And so you make no progress. You just end up adding head count.
Yep.
And so I feel like the ratio is fair because and then addressing the issue that you have with the amount of work to be done, I feel confident with a vendor helping out and getting you caught up. And we may be proven wrong, but we'll see.
And
But
like I say, it may take more than 1 year though.
Oh, it will take more than 1 year.
That's what, and you made that comment and the judge did too. And if it does, it does. But we've got to do it. We owe it not only to the people that live out in precinct 2, but also.
The county as a
like
whole.
The judge said, the county people who want to access a county-owned property that's a recreational venue.
This court recognizes that responsibility, very much so. Been very involved in what we're gonna do at the park, and we want it to be.
First class.
For us to make it really nice out there, and you get there on a crappy road is not the best way to set a first impression. It needs to be a good way to get there, and more than one way to get there. And people don't just come from one direction either.
I mean, that would be the number one priority, don't you think, out there?
On a third-party vendor.
Well, I think for this
Around
court,
Hallsburg.
However we,
for this court, it's the number one priority. For her, she's got a whole bunch of number one priorities. But for us, we need to take that on how we're gonna handle it and how we're gonna pay for it. And it may be that after talking to Tracy and Zane and Ronnie, it might be that we take the whole lake issue and handle it third party. Let her keep rolling with, her and Ronnie going, and Ronnie's motivated. I mean, he's rolling and going, and I talked to a vendor last night that was telling me that Ronnie is very excited about the potential of what they can get done. You know, they feel like they can move, and their opinion matters and those kind of things, so.
It makes a difference when you have a leadership in place that actually cares. And is investing into you, investing to the crew as a whole, and it makes, and let them know that you appreciate everything that they do.
Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
You're right. Okay.
okay,
Thank you, Tracy.
thank you.
And I'll be talking to you about maybe a good time we can get together, Zane, and plus, have you met his staff, the new folks there
It's 2 new people?
in engineering?
I did,
Okay,
absolutely.
good, good.
I saw them in court, and then I also met them in the hallway, yes.
Okay, good, thank you, yeah.
Yeah, so I have a meeting out in precinct 2, like I discussed with you earlier, on August the 1st.
Right.
So that's our day where we're dissecting everything that morning. So if he wants to come out there that day, or if we want to schedule something that Wednesday to ride that morning, but
Okay.
August 1st, we need to have all of our plans in place for the rest of FY24, moving into FY25 with everything, inventory, everything. That's a starting point right there.
Sounds good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have an email copy of the ratio?
I do not.
Can we make sure she gets that? So, and if you have any other questions about it, it's still up for discussion till whenever Francis tells us we have to quit talking about things.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Send it right now.
Thank you. Alrighty. Any other questions for me? No?
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay.
Judge Pro Tem, can we have a break?
Sir, could you get us
All right.
5 minutes?
Recording stopped.
charge. I mean, he and I are handling everything.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
All right, let's call court back to session. All right, Francis?
Okay. So for road and bridge then, for those departments, we've made that one adjustment between the department and contingencies in 3650. Other than that, for the capital outlay, we didn't touch on that, and you all provided details of why you asked for that, the amount you did in capital outlay. Do you want to talk about those amongst yourself? Are you good with what was included?
For road bridge?
Yes, road and bridge specifically.
No,
I was fine with everybody's,
with what I saw yesterday.
yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make
And they're
sure.
pretty much in line with previous years. They're not any huge increases.
I just wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
there wasn't any
Need.
information you wanted to share with each other.
And hey, and you, if you saw something that alarmed you, I don't care who.
No, that's.
You say something and
And in each of those lines, there's a comment, with what the detail is. Y'all, like I said, y'all all provided detail. I just wanted to not just rush over that. Okay. So we're gonna check those off for the meantime, just so we have something, of course, to put in the proposed, and then we'll keep going. Let's see. I'm gonna skip over contracted programs right now. That budget, and it's 5490. So those are our outside entities that we contract with. It remains the same as it did last year. And any increases that were requested by outside entities, we have those as another layer on our main summary. So we'll come back and you can decide at the end, do you want to talk about the increases that were
Well, some of those
requested?
increases are by contract.
Yes, there are some there.
Built-in escalators.
So we'll walk through each of
you're
those.
talking about like Brazos Trails wanted a $5,000 bump and.
Yeah, so whatever the increases may be, as well as economic development too.
Right.
There's one there, and so we'll hit all those increases at the same time. But the base amount, the amount that was in the budget last year, is already placed in here. So we'll talk about those other layers.
Yeah, one thing to consider too is some of the nonprofits were asking for, they were requesting funds, get funding through United Way also, and so we could channel through United Way. Thing I like about that is, as I mentioned before, their audit procedure and all, that these nonprofits are using the money as intended. And the other thing is, it kind of shows their multiple source of funding coming in.
Are you saying, let's say, nonprofit A wanted $10,000, and so we contribute $10,000 to United Way. What guarantees that 10,000 goes back to nonprofit A?
Because that's an agreement that they will sign. We've done it before.
Make with us?
Yeah,
United, between us and United Way.
yeah. That they'll put it in that, those funds will be dedicated to that nonprofit. And then sometimes we look at, well, they're getting money from United Way and we contribute to United Way, so we don't need to be contributing to them. But we can talk about it, it'd be multiple ways to do it. I just, had some bad experiences with nonprofits, us giving money to them and come to find out that it wasn't being used according to even the law sometimes, so. And the whole community's been working to try to make sure that our nonprofits are legitimate and do what they think. And
While we're on that discussion, nonprofits, I sometimes wonder if there are a lot of nonprofits that are tripping over each other, doing the same thing, that we have no idea that the services are being duplicated, replicated, whatever, when we donate or give that money out. I wish there was one place that, I wish there was a go-to that you could see what services are there and how many different nonprofits provide those services.
And I agree that we need to look at that, and United Way is a pretty good helper on telling us that too. They know where all the funds come from.
Initially, that's what Prosper Waco was trying to focus on.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I just don't think they got their arms.
You know, you read,
They do now.
I read the paper and I see what nonprofits are doing and
Yeah,
And I read, and I think, well, isn't there somebody else also doing that? Didn't I read about somebody else also
Yeah,
doing that same thing?
duplication services, yeah.
A lot of hunger initiatives that are out there.
Yeah. So even if we don't do it through United Way, I would use them as a resource to ask them questions about the nonprofit world in McLennan County. They got a good handle on it.
It's a thought, it's a good thought. It'd be nice to know. Okay, sorry.
Oh, no. We can move to any topic you want to.
Excuse me, the other one would be asking like the Waco Foundation, because they look at that too.
Well, somebody, I'm
And,
sure somebody knows that, yeah.
So Waco or
Could do it through the Waco Foundation.
yeah, they pull a little piece off, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But
I would assume that United Way would also too.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Typically for backroom.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna have some, you got to pay for their,
Overhead.
Expertise.
expertise, accounting.
Okay.
And so, continuing with just a few more departments, so Department 6730 is our Heart of Texas Fairgrounds Repair and Maintenance. I think you were all pretty good with this. We just see these repair and maintenance cost increase year after year. So, based on history, instead of trying to do, or having to do budget amendments through the year, we've increased that budget to 250. And that was in conjunction with discussions with TJ as well. And so, like I said, we'll have to do those repairs out there in the maintenance. And so instead of doing budget amendments, we just, instead of doing through the year, we thought we'd increase that. If you are okay with that.
I agree. Makes sense.
Department 7660 is AgriLife Extension. And we requested increases to furniture and equipment, to replace some computers. They will also rely on the cost share program with AgriLife Extension. But we do have to match some of those costs. So that's embedded there in that furniture and equipment. And then professional development, they've also asked for an increase there. And so they've seen an increase just in the cost, like we all have, in the cost of hotels and the cost associated with those trips. So they've asked for an increase.
Will, did you attend the presentation down in College Station from AgriLife?
No, I did not.
Okay. I was really impressed
But I am impressed though
with the
with
scope
their,
of work that they do.
Oh, yeah, it's a
not only
big-
here, but statewide.
Yeah.
I saw their
really-
offices out on, is it William Bryan Parkway or something like
One of
that?
those, right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's a,
Yeah.
they do a lot of work. It's impressive.
A lot of
Yeah,
areas,
uh-huh.
really amazing,
mhm.
really,
Right there
threw that out,
between, College Station and Snook.
yeah. Okay,
So if no other thoughts there,
Been to Snook.
move from there.
Have a big cook-off the other day.
Economic Development is Department 7890, and that's when, again, we have placed in here the same, and any increases that were requested, we'll circle back to that list as kind of a final, once we have the tax rate, what do you want to add in for additional requests? 7890, yes, sir.
Okay.
So those are the pieces that, for WIMDEC, Waco Chamber, and then any organizations that we feel falls under economic development. Cultural arts, Startup Waco, the MPO.
Now, I think, and maybe we've decided it or not, but I was thinking Waco Sports was asking for 130.
They are.
Yeah, the increases in the, it's the blah, blah, blah. It's in the,
It's the outside entities.
outside entities request summary.
I thought you'd built all those into these. You
No,
said,
we always keep those, or we have been keeping those increases separate, just because
Okay.
it's usually it's usually one of the last decisions that you make. It just
On the
keeps
outside
it,
entities?
yeah, it just
Okay.
kind of helps keep it
Okay.
clean.
Okay, I was looking back.
We could do it different ways, but that's just
That's fine.
it's what's worked out. Okay, so we'll, again, that department's the same, but just wanted to,
So overall, there's, for the outside entities, there's $490,000 in increases.
yes, and a big portion of that was the WIMDEC,
Yeah,
increase to WIMDEC.
350,000 was their increased ask.
When
is
you,
that correct?
when you back at 350 out, what's the other increase then?
One
Between what-
second, and I'll tell you.
Okay.
So 490,000, roughly as an increase. The increase for WIMDEC was 350,000.
We said 140,000 requests more from the outside entities?
Yes, sir.
Other than,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
okay, and we'll go back and look at those again?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We can go back whenever. Usually that's kind of a last
Okay.
thought that we have. Okay, and so then,
Excuse me, was
Oh,
all
go
of
ahead.
that in the cultural arts, all that increase?
there were pieces here and there spread
Okay,
out.
all right, never mind.
I'm trying to remember myself.
Yeah,
Here,
Art specific was 20,000.
Above,
The investment, McLennan Community Investment Fund, was 50,000. Waco Sports was 10. There's some others, but that makes up a big chunk of it there.
yeah, okay, I got it, thank you.
And again, we can come back to those if ever you feel you just want to before the end. Capital Outlay Department, 7920. So there are a few copiers that we haven't covered yet. Copiers, printers, and of course, those are just necessary needs that arise every so many years for departments. And so we haven't gone over those yet, the top three. Is it going?
Well, these copies cost.
I don't know what
much.
it's. No, I didn't know if it was, if it was split, if it had frozen. I didn't know if we were having trouble with this.
Still,
and
I'm sorry.
ABC, I just a real quick.
Sure.
Back to that. ABC is asking for $55,000 more.
Yes, that was another big one.
okay,
I forgot to.
yeah. But we're coming back to these.
We're gonna-
right?
Yes,
circle
yes.
back to all
And we
that.
can go there now, or?
I'll withhold my opinion.
Okay. And so capital outlay, other than those few copiers, the requests were Constable 1, we heard from today. The tax office, oh no, I'm sorry, they took out their request. Pretend I didn't say that. Sheriff's office, so they went through all of their capital outlay, was that early this week? The district attorney and the vehicles, so we cut that request in half when we spoke with him. And then the IT capital outlay and projects that John went over yesterday. That's a lot of things on one page there that they covered, a lot of different asks. But just generally speaking, is there any thoughts there? These are, I think it's hard to compare this from year to year, but keeping this in total capital outlay pretty consistent is worked out. And so we're about a little less than 200,000 less than the adopted budget last year as it stands, just for context.
Any of these qualify for ARPA or bond? Not enough, like the one-time addition, V-Rail?
Be the lost revenue piece, and I don't know
Yeah,
that,
No, it probably would under ARPA, but under the bond is.
and I think for bonds, because even though these capital outlay items
Oh,
may
we're talking
vary
about
from
the
year to
copies or
year,
something. We're still talking
they're
about
still in total consistent. So we're replacing vehicles, and so even though that's a one-time cost to replace that vehicle, it's ongoing. We're gonna be replacing vehicles
Right.
every year. So I hate to put that kind of thing, or my opinion is, I would hate to put those kind of things on the bonds because we know
I was-
they're gonna keep coming.
Yeah, I was specifically, I apologize.
Oh, no,
I
no.
was looking more at the IT upgrades or one-time, I see one-time addition, and I know that,
I think when we got to talking about that yesterday, Dustin was gone. So That's probably why we didn't get any input from him on whether he thought they would qualify or not.
On the,
On the software that Jim's talking about, we did mention ARPA.
Oh, for Tyler specifically?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think he was getting at some of the other softwares that, outside of the Tyler conversation,
Wait, you know,
the card
I'm for
readers.
anything we can pull out of the regular general operating budget expenses and charge off to ARPA or even bond, one of our bonds or whatever, anything that we can do that makes that look more presentable in my mind.
like the cameras, like the body worn cameras, would that be a bond eligible?
So those end up being more of a lease type transaction. We have them here. So we would just have to look at that and study it and see what would be allowable and not. Because it's not just like buying them outright and then in one
I would
year.
just ask if you look at all of these.
And then, yes, there is the anticipated grant funding. Thank you, Haley, for the body cameras as well for the sheriff's office. And I know David mentioned that as well earlier this week. So that number could come down substantially after that grant, after we know if that grant would be accepted.
And I'm sure y'all already are, but I would just ask that you look at all of these
Oh, yes, for sure.
as
we
far
can
as
do
any
that.
alternative funding.
Okay. As far as, so funding aside, just the request and what you see as a need and for the county, you're good though with seeing all of these as needs and recommended needs from these departments? Is that the consensus?
Well, after hearing what they talked about yesterday, us still in some of our courtrooms using
Yeah, right.
black and white.
Digital, I mean, analog.
Analog.
Analog,
Yeah, that
analog
need to
stuff.
be updated, yeah.
I really, on a side note, I really feel the culture of budget requests has changed over the last years. That I feel like when departments request something, they really feel that's a need. It's not a want above and beyond. I mean, I think they really try hard. It may be something we could not do, but I think they feel like that it's something
Well,
essential to their
And
office.
I appreciate John and his group looking at those things very closely too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, we'll continue that conversation on the funding
okay, I appreciate that.
funding of these, but we'll go ahead and just kind of move on from
Yeah,
the
that's fine.
topic. Before I go away from that department, there are those 3 copiers at the very top of the list, copiers and printers. There's a fax/copier machine for the treasurer's office, a copier for the human resources department, and then one of the large format scanners and plotters for the engineer's office. And so again, like I said, we usually have a few of these each year for random departments, just because they have to be replaced and upgraded from time to time. We do have quotes and information on each of them. Just trying to
Yeah,
see.
there's explanation on all 3 of them, aren't there? They're
Yes,
marked.
and then in the capital outlay folder, there is the information we were given, whether that be a quote or details. So I didn't know, I just felt like to explain it, it would be that they need to replace, upgrade, improve their copying and their printing in their office, so.
Questioning whether a copy is really needed or not, so I'm
And of
just
course,
going along with you.
those
guys.
types of
No, we
items
need ours.
also, those departments will work with purchasing, and purchasing will be highly involved, of course, if not 100% involved in that process. So they will ensure that repair and maintenance agreements are obtained and all of the things that are needed, so. Okay. And then the last department is our transfer department, transfers to other funds, rather. This is Department 9110. And we have a line item we have a transfer to the CPS fund. We may need to come back to this maybe later on in August. We had some questions, I think, about the amount there. Do we ever get anything back from them? The request is good? Yeah. Okay, so that's the same request there, and that's being, and that we hold that on our books in Fund 163. The CPS board spends those funds, and we reimburse them there, so, or pay for those costs. And so that's something that's been going on a long time. The juvenile one was the one that increased, and they really didn't have an increase much in their department. It's just the transfer needed. They've been relying on fund balance that was in that fund for some years, and so it's just caught up to itself. They had less vacancies than they've had, and so boarding
$2
care
million?
costs have gone up.
$2 million worth?
$2 million worth?
Yes, boarding care costs for juvenile is the huge driver of their operating cost right now. So outside boarding care. So we've
What
seen
are their
that
numbers like?
On that one specifically.
on boarding care.
I mean, what are the,
And they get some grant funding, but of course, like, it's not all covered. But again, not a change, and that's something that the juvenile board, of course, approves the details of that budget. The transfer comes to you like it does here. But
Your question is, what are the issues that are driving?
yeah,
social
what,
issues?
so no, not the social, it's just
Okay.
a pure, I know the social issues, I know the crap that goes on. It's how many more people are we taking care of out? How many more, I mean, is it a,
Is it a numbers game?
is it,
was gonna-
is it the amount of, is the amount of juveniles in the incarcerated, or is it?
I was gonna say, being that
Or is
next
it just-
Tuesday is that fifth Tuesday, and I don't know if Colin had a report on there on Tuesday, and we could see if he could speak to y'all and answer any questions on, if he's gonna be here Tuesday already. Because I don't know enough to speak on the
Yeah, his
details with that.
His report's first thing on the agenda.
Yeah,
What grant?
Okay.
Or did a grant fall off, or?
It's just increase in the needs for those types of services for the youth that are the juveniles.
Have we had to, I mean, I don't see any amendments for 24.
So the budget amendments within their detailed budget, it's in Fund 246. Those budget amendments are approved by the juvenile board, so they don't come to y'all.
They haven't increased their budget any this year in 24.
So that's just the whole transfer. So that transfer amount, when it comes to you, that's to fund the entire budget at 100%.
And so it goes from here to whatever?
246, yes.
246. But have you increased 246 this year?
The budget,
Uh-huh.
slightly, yes, and
Is there any revenue that comes in to offset that?
June, so it's not reflecting.
some grants. but I
Okay.
don't know.
so,
That's the big one.
okay, so like for boarding care specifically, we started with the budget of 600,000. Just in June, we had to add 700,000 to that line. So bringing it up to a total budget of 1.3 million. So it's almost doubled, from beginning of year to end of year budget wise.
State beds, same problem we have at the jail, where the state's dragging their feet on taking on their folks, so we're having to feed
Okay.
care.
I'm sorry, so you're looking at the Fund 246 spreadsheet?
That's only
I believe?
part of it.
No, I'm not looking
Okay.
at, I can't, where is 246?
So it's labeled as juvenile. But Haley was saying, if you were looking at that, we've just recently done budget amendments that aren't reflected in that activity as of yet.
Juvenile, okay,
There's a folder, yes, sir.
okay.
But there's no revenue that comes in to replace any of this
Increase.
7 million or 2 million increase to 9 million. There's no revenue to offset that somewhere else
No.
in the budget.
So the way juvenile works is juvenile has a total budget. A portion of it, primarily personnel, is grant funded, state grant funded. So there's an umbrella of multiple grants that come down from the state. The remainder then is funded in what they call the local fund. The general fund funds that local fund by this transfer.
And there's nothing comes down from the state to offset
No,
that cost.
that's, it, it does offset their costs, but it's kept up in a grant
It goes
related.
to them.
Yes,
We don't
yes,
see
sir.
it here at
So
all.
this number is after the state has
That's
kicked in their grants.
actual dollars we're spending.
Yes, sir.
There's grant order.
Wow.
Grant order that covers boarding.
Yeah. but
And there
it's-
We
is.
didn't transfer any more from the general fund this year.
No, so that 7.2 million last year, that was 100% of their budget. And so just like y'all adopt, a max budget, they do as well. And so, we would never, unless something
Well, why don't
crazy
you pull
happened,
up 206 and let's let's
We can look at how their budget.
dive in.
Do they have carryover? Do they?
Yes.
They'll have
yes.
carryover.
So that's a separate fund that has a carryover, which is what they have been using.
Yeah,
But it's just caught up to itself, so.
Yeah.
And just to remind you, the details of it are approved by that juvenile board. So you'll see here, and this is what their local fund looks like. So that section that's pulled up there is the revenues. So you'll see there the 7.2 million that she has highlighted this year is the transfer from general fund. The rest of the revenue is very minimal. You have some at juvenile, you don't have much in probation fees, if any. So probation fees, and then there's some interest. But other than that, the grant revenue is kept, for the majority of the grant revenue, is kept separate.
So
from
there's
this fund.
quite a few vacancies out there, huh?
Yes. And so then, you can see just like any of the other departments we have in general fund, they have two departments, one detention, one probation. And so it runs just like the departments in general fund do. If budget amendments are needed during the year, those are taken to the juvenile board, approved and then posted. And so we work with juvenile just the same we do all other departments in preparing the budget, looking at what hasn't been spent, can we bring it down? Just as, and so as we do for all.
I think they said, since, COVID, this is the highest percentage of open positions finally got filled. So it's flowing back in, and there might have been a salary increase that helped on that. But
Like
that's
prior
when-
years,
yeah.
yes, prior year.
Yeah,
And
prior year.
Anna and I were just looking at that earlier today together, this fund specifically, and they have been filling more positions
Yeah.
as these years have gone on. And I think this year, 2020, or this next year, 2025, we'll see where the vacancies land. And then when we prepare for budget for 2026, we'll approach those with him and see if there's anything we need to do as far as lowering the number.
I take it then you're saying we fund those vacancies in the budget.
Yes, so when you transfer the money over, if they don't spend it, that's when it sits and then it rolls forward. And so,
That helps offset some of the money we send over.
yes. So,
Okay.
We're probably going to break about 11:30 for a meeting.
Okay.
So what's scheduled after lunch?
okay, so after that, so we have now officially gone through all requests. You've
Not to
touched
cut
on
off
them.
you, Will.
You have given us a consensus. We have enough that we could put together a proposed budget if we had to today, and we don't have to have that till next Wednesday. But that just lets us know what we need to include and not include. What we need to do now is we need to have Anna go through some elected official and department head salary discussion, if y'all want to do that until 11:30.
Okay?
And then after that, I had just planned on coming back, big picture items, the vacancy factor, new positions, cutting any positions, those types of things, how much that's costing us in total, what those numbers look like.
Okay.
So,
Can you say, is that this afternoon?
so
Anna's gonna come right now.
the morning had gotten away from me, so we can come back to that on Monday if y'all wanted to end at lunch. Here's my thought there, is that I don't have tax rates yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I
that's the
did-
big thing.
That's the big thing, I agree.
Yes, so I feel like those are like big picture things. If we have that on Monday, we can look at what all of this stuff looks like, all piled in together,
Yeah,
so.
we'll know whether we need to go back and dig in.
Get the old,
Yeah,
get the cutting board out?
let's get back in this thing.
So we.
I think we're gonna have to get back into it.
We're gonna meet back after lunch or not?
I think we can just wait until Monday. We're happy to.
Fine.
Let's do that.
But I think without that, knowing that what that revenue source exactly
Since we
looks
don't
like.
have the tax rates, I mean,
And
we're
then,
just grabbing at straws.
And you've already had discussions about these big items. Now it's just like I said, like it's like a menu of options. How do
So-
we make all these pieces fit?
Right, and also on Tuesday, we have the department head reports.
Yes.
So we're asking them just to send their reports in. We're not gonna go line by line. I think just be available if the court has any questions. So that'll give us enough time that we need to take Monday's information and bring it forward. We can do that.
And we can look at,
Yeah.
the outside entities, when will we do
Yes,
that again?
so we'll do that as well as like another
Next week.
layer on.
Next week.
After you see where you are with the tax
know,
rate, fund balance.
Yeah.
and-
We may want to gavel in on Tuesday.
We will.
Are we gonna work, are we meeting Monday? Are you talking about meeting Monday?
Monday?
Monday or Tuesday?
So the plan was,
scheduled, aren't
the
we?
plan was both days, but y'all let me know
Okay,
what.
oh, that's fine.
No,
Yeah.
Monday,
fine.
and then we'll be, and then we're posted for Tuesday.
Are we
Tuesday,
posted for Monday?
Yes.
Okay,
Perfect.
okay.
that's great.
fine. That's fine.
Get this thing knocked out.
Let's get it done.
Whatever needs to be done, fine.
Yeah. Okay, Anna?
Yes, so I wanted to cover elected officials and department head salaries. We typically, in past years, have separate discussions on those. So for elected officials, I have all elected officials listed on the screen, and then I highlighted those that actually submitted salary requests. And so you'll see their current budget here. It's JP Precinct 5, Constable Precinct 3, JP Precinct 1 Place 1, and 1 Place 2. And so here are their current budgets, and then in this column here, you'll see the salary they're requesting, and then to the right of that, you see the results of the salary survey conducted by our compensation, one of the compensation consultants. And then right next to that, it's the ratio of the current budget against the salary survey.
And those are the four?
The four highlighted on the screen submitted salary requests.
And they're all within our
But the,
0.8 ratio.
I was gonna say, the current budget is the 0.8, correct? Not the salary survey.
Right, so the comp ratio is the current budget compared to the salary survey. So it is 20% less, this budget is 20% less than the salary survey.
But the.
Or is
the point-
80% of the salary survey.
And we have tried to stay within the 0.8 or above, right, with everybody?
Right, that is always our guidance to at
That's
least
been our guidance.
stay within 80% of market.
And so if you, holy cow, what would their ratio be if we went to the salary survey?
A 1.
They'd get them to a 1.
Yes. Another item I want to just identify, if in bringing positions to the pay grade minimum, what'll happen with constables' offices, those chief positions will edge their elected official salary. Because the new minimum for chief constables is 76,000. 76,400, this number here, that's their new minimum. And we have a few constables who are below that here.
Just looking at the JPs, I think, and maybe somebody can tell me different, but JP 1-1 and 1-2 would seem to me to be a lot busier. And I know we've talked and you said, well, a lot of counties just do the same across the board, but JP 1-1 and 1-2, I do think carry the lion's share of death calls and things of that nature. And I don't know how appropriate it would be to put them in the same category with the rest of the JPs. That's just my opinion on that, but.
Dustin, we had talked about, and I know we'd have to set an expectation but we would say that to get this certain salary, you have to agree to do these things, which would drive, your, the data in activity. And then the next year, you'd have to wait a year and see how they stacked up that to set the next year's salary, or explain that if you can.
Right, just with the way elected official salaries have to be set through this process, then published, then through the grievance process, we couldn't have like a pot of money that can be accessed if they did jail magistration, for example. You would have to go in, and Francis can correct me if I'm wrong, but when we looked at it last summer, I think kind of what Mike had suggested, the best approach would be you would have to essentially agree to pay that salary on the agreement of the JP that they were going to perform those extra duties, and then you would just revisit it going into the next budget year to see if they completed those duties essentially.
If they didn't complete them, what do you do?
So then it's the court's discretion through that next salary setting process to remove that portion. If there was a set portion for jail magistration or whatever that other duty was going to be, then the court could choose to remove that, and then the elected official has that right to go through that grievance process.
Everybody understand that? And I think if you want to do that, what you need to do is get a agreement, because sometimes some of the JPs say, I'll take on this duty if you take on this duty. So, and I like that, they're working together and those kind of things. So, we would need to have that discussion with them to see, this is what we're proposing, but we don't want to mess up any agreement you already have if it's productive and efficient. So, but there's obviously some elected officials that do more than what others do. They agree that they'll be carrying their part of the load, But we need to know that pretty quick, if that's a concept. Otherwise, it's the only other way that you can differentiate payroll-wise.
1-1 and 1-2 are currently making more than 5 and 2, although 2's not asking. Precinct 2 and Precinct 5 are set at the same. Precinct 3 is the same as Precinct 1-1.
Sort these by the,
Hmm?
let me sort these so you can see them all together.
And that's been that way since I've been on the court. I don't know how 3 got up to the equivalent of 1-1 and 1-2, but it's been that way for 16 years, 14 years, and I know.
Their activity level, from what we see, like on receipt side, is comparable to 1-1 and 1-2, or has been pretty comparable. So I think that's where that
Because
probably.
the highway.
Yeah, and
And I think
Yes.
and I'm sorry, I think the one other factor is, precinct 3, they're still the birth and death registrar for their area.
I got you. Okay. I just know that I would like to see before we get to talking about parity or anything of that nature, I just can't help but think 1-1 and 1-2 get called out a lot more than anybody else. That's my thought process now. I need to see
We
the
know
numbers
if
to
If the
back it.
court wanted to address the pay but maintain the differentiation that exists now, a flat percentage could be just applied to all of the salaries. And it would maintain their current differentiation.
Say that again?
So if the amounts here, the differences in salary, if the court wanted to maintain that difference, they could just apply a percentage increase across the board, and that way that they'll get a bump, but the differences in their pay will remain the same.
Yeah. All right, so what's the difference between the lowest and the highest percentage-wise right now?
I'm sorry, can you ask that again? Because I don't think I
What's
understood.
the difference percentage-wise between the lowest salaried and the highest salaried?
Oh, I see. Okay.
I can figure that.
So the lowest salary we have here is
86.5. 86.512 minus 75.
Move them all to 90.
98 equals
What is
divided
that?
by the lowest, 75,098, 75,098.
If they move to 0.9,
15%. Is that what you're showing?
I didn't finish my calculation, sorry. But that sounds all right, yeah.
Is that right?
Between the lowest and the highest
The lowest, between the lowest and the highest is 15%.
of that lower amount.
So if you took the highest 15%, let me just see, 86,512, 86. 86.
All right, take it easy.
I've got to get out
right.
west and pick some.
What'd I say, 15%? Is that what I said,
See
15%?
y'all later.
Okay. Yeah. So if you just take a flat percent
And apply it
and
to all
apply it
of
to every
them.
one of them, eighty-six, 512.
Move.
If you did a flat 5%, that would move the top to 9837.60. I was just using that as an example. Not that I'm saying that's, I advocate that one way or the other.
Sure. I just plugged in a 3% increase across the board for all of them.
Okay, okay, that's what you're showing?
Yes.
Where's that comp ratio?
That would be the new comp ratios?
That's the new ratio. So some of these, the lowest ones that are currently at a 0.80 would move up to a 0.82.
Who's at 0.82? Which ones? Go
Those
back.
would be JP2
5
and
and,
5.
5 and,
5 and who? What was the other?
what was the other JP? What?
5 and
Can you
2.
squeeze it down? There you go. 2 and 5, yeah, okay, 2 and 5.
Actually, in,
What would it look like if you put 1, and 2 at 90, 1, and then 2 at 78, or
You're
or-
talking 90,000?
Yeah, 90,000. 2 at 80.
2 at 80. And then any other numbers?
And then 3 at 90. And then, so, 4 at 90. And then that one at 80. 5 at 80. Which is what she's asking for.
you're talking about before COLA.
No, this would be adding COLA, including COLA.
Well, what I was thinking about,
I think we help the comp ratio, whatever we can do to help,
so if we used a percentage, then everybody got treated the same as far as percentage over
Sure.
last year.
Mhm.
And so if everybody ended up after grievance, everything, yeah, then,
We'll talk offline.
yeah, good. Let's hold this one.
Think about it.
Sure. Did the court have any thoughts on the moving those constables that are lower than the new minimum for their chief deputies?
Yeah, I think that has to
And
happen.
adjusting those?
I agree. What do you think, Commissioner?
Moving them, what are you moving them to? Let me see the
The
number.
minimum, the dollar, okay.
Yeah, dollar
Would be
size.
these amounts here, and so again, if you wanted to differentiate, keep that same level of difference between them, we could just apply
Yeah, percentage. Okay,
a percent that would bring them to,
It's that same 3% you're saying?
right. Oh, I started wrong.
See what it looks like.
So that would bring all of them above the new minimum, which is at 74,000. I'm sorry, it's 76,000, so that doesn't fix it.
I think that looks pretty good though, right there.
These are still under that new minimum.
By 8 cents? Where's
This
the
is-
minimum?
The minimum is 76,400. So if we wanted
All
to,
right, what percent increase is that then for those, for the 70, to go from 72,964 to 70, what'd you say the minimum?
we'll have to do
70, yeah,
6%.
that percentage multiplied back times everybody.
So that's a 6% increase.
But that gets them to the, that gets, and what was the minimum again? Did you say on the ratio, I mean, on the comp survey?
76,400.
76.4,
Yes, is the minimum of the chiefs, which is what we're,
what we're shooting at,
What we're sh-
76.4.
Shooting to get above.
and right, and so
Okay, so
6% would do
76.4.
this.
Okay, I think that's probably what we have to do, if we're gonna live with that survey.
And this is, I don't know if you want to include COLA on this or, because the way the COLA is being applied for those folks that are below minimum, COLA is being applied and then only the amount remaining to minimum at that point is being applied. So if the court wants to have this as the final number, then we can work
Now,
backward.
Work
on
back
that.
through that, yeah, yeah. That's how we're doing everybody else's, wasn't it?
Just those that are below, yes,
Yeah,
those that are
the
below.
ones that
minimum.
were below, we did the 3% COLA first, then that
That's
made the
right.
difference. Yeah, I think we need to be consistent with it.
And then just so that the court can see what the final ratio is. I think these would be the ending ratios.
Okay.
just as a look, what does that do JP for? Oh, it's constable.
We're doing
These
a
are constables,
Yeah.
yes.
Constable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, never mind, yeah.
So the court would be okay with this,
Yeah.
this number, we'll keep this number as default then.
Okay.
So that's a 6%, including COLA increase. Okay. So I'll save that. And then the other, and it's 11:30, and I know we mentioned that being a cutoff. The next item I wanted to discuss is department heads.
But we're not coming back this afternoon, right?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Keep going.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and, yeah, let's go
Yeah,
ahead.
since we can,
So this is department head comparison and similar columns. We have the current budget. I have here the new minimums. These are the new pay grade minimums and new pay grade midpoints, and then market.
And what was market mean? Tell me again what market means.
That's pulling from the salary survey,
That's the salary survey.
yes. This is a midpoint from the survey pulled by that personnel consultant. And so these are in order of lowest ratio to highest ratio. And so I would flag those ratios that are below 0.8, and that awkwardly is my position.
What is it, what happens to go to 0.8 with that? What does it do?
yeah, what is it?
It does this. I think group-wise, because we have positions that are above a 0.9, if we were to address one, I would recommend addressing these also. Pretty much anything below a 0.9, even inclusive of the 0.90, I might also.
What does that do, go to 0.9 with them? Yeah, everything that's not at 0.9, go to 0.9.
And then the average of those that aren't outliers, the average ratio is 0.92, just for reference.
Initially, I think that looks pretty good.
So what did it take you to? I'm not seeing it on smoke. I see it now. Never mind, I moved to it.
That gets everybody to a
0.9.
minimum of a 0.9.
Okay,
I like that too.
yeah, I do too.
And then the COLA would go on top of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay. Yes, I have it up.
Okay. That just leaves what, elected? Okay. We want to get to that one?
But I feel like there's a strategy that seems to be favorable, and that's just applying the percentage.
Yeah. But I want to talk to,
Sure.
What percentage did we end with?
For
in
the constable?
JPs? Oh, constables was 6.
Yes, for
And
JPs,
that
I
included
think
COLA.
that is correct. This plus inclusive of COLA, this should be the final number after COLA. And then they're still mulling over the JPs.
Back on elected officials, show us salaries versus the survey.
So current budget and salary survey, the best reference for comparison is that comp ratio. And I can sort that least to greatest. Let me hide this for now. It's gonna confuse. And then Commissioner Smith, you had asked about comparing commissioner salaries for those folks for those counties that participated in a unit road system, because their functions were different, and it's 2 counties, I think, Brazoria and Jefferson, and their salaries are much higher compared to the other 7 counties.
All right, say that again, I'm sorry. The 2 that do not participate in a unit system, their salaries were higher for the commissioners?
That's
Is that
right.
what you're saying?
That is correct.
Than ours?
Yes, higher than our commissioners' salaries. So just putting the commissioner salary ratio kind of in comparison, it seems being above a 1 is a reasonable ratio.
Originally there was some mention of those that were over the comp survey of just applying a COLA as a one-time payment and not
So that would
increasing
only-
the salary.
That would only apply to positions that were above a pay grade maximum, and our elected officials are not a part of our pay structure. They don't have a minimum or a maximum.
So we're strictly doing comps with the other 10 counties then?
Exactly. I don't have a range for our officials like I do with all other
I see
positions.
what you're saying, okay. Well, we certainly will need to be fair.
And that's the common thing. that our consultant shared, there's not like a structure for elected officials.
Slide down to where we can see what the columns mean. Now, again, current budget, requested salary, salary survey, and comp ratio.
If I could just zoom out.
Okay, can we just think on it?
Outside of this, it's just back to kind of that whole big picture item of managing vacancies and,
Yeah, the other conversation we need to have are those total dollars versus
yes,
13 in, 13 out, or
Right.
total dollars in, total dollars out.
correct.
Okay. And you're ready for that? You
I
got it
have
all
the current vacancies
You do?
here. Mhm.
You do have it figured out. And you have recommendations on which ones you need to pull?
Well,
That's a little harder.
Some discussion, there's some there's some negotiation that's gonna have to take place.
Yeah, and I just struggle because, for instance, I went ahead and had our recruiter pull our current status forms for upcoming hires, and so we already have 4 positions between the jail and Jack Harwell that are about to be filled. We have signed status forms for hire. But we're also aware of 2 employee relations issues that might lead to separations. So, and that's just constant. Every pay period, we might gain 2 and lose 1, and
Two steps forward, 1 step back, or 1 step forward, 2 steps back?
yes.
Yeah. Every month, every pay period.
Fortunately, it's been a
historically-
step forward more
but
recently,
historically,
even
those-
with our separations,
Yeah.
so.
Well,
Well, and I think that the thing to look at is that what can they, what
realistic.
what realistically, and then also too, what are they mandated
Sure.
to have? And what is that ratio
Yeah, that's
truly-
what overtime takes care of.
truly?
In the
truly look
past, I've pulled staffing reports from the jail commission site, and so I can,
And I'm not
do that.
certainly pointing at just them. I'm talking about countywide. If we pull positions, there's not going to be one to hire. I mean, you talk about staffing, but if we eliminate those, they're not there.
right?
Won't have to worry about that. Bottom line.
So we'd need to bring those department spokespeople in to talk about it, to convince us they need to stay or not, right?
That's
I
fine.
would not
They
want-
they can try to bend my arm, that's fine.
Yeah, well, I think it's only fair, because I'd hate to cut.
Well, there's
something
also something there too that they really want.
Yeah, but, historically, and we're not talking about 1 year, we're talking about historically, this Department A has had 5 openings, and they've never filled them in 5 years. They can bend my arm all they want, but in 5 years, you haven't managed to do anything.
And that, they can say that. I'd rather make the decision based on after everything, I've heard everything, rather
That's fine.
than assume it.
We first have to earmark those that aren't there, or
Yeah.
that are, we're pinpointing, the ones that we're
That's right, yeah.
trying to,
Yes, I would agree.
okay.
So identify those folks and have them schedule them in.
Okay. I'll do that. Yeah, it would be the sheriff's office between the county sheriff and the jail. The other department, the only other one with historic vacancies is Road and Bridge 2, but I feel like the court has already addressed that. And so it'd really just be the
Done.
sheriff's office.
Yeah, good. Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Francis, what else?
So I think then that kind of officially we have touched on everything.
Yes.
And so those big picture items, we just need to bring back when we have the tax rates, just marry it all together and see what that looks like. And so I think for today, I think it would make more sense to move that into Monday if
Okay.
possible.
And
Y'all can
then-
let me know the schedule of next week.
Right. And then, I don't know if the court wants to, do we want Dustin to next week kind of present, if you want to put any kind of measurement on, JP activity, here's how you'd have to do it.
Sure.
So I think it ought to be something we look at. It may not be what we adopt.
Yep.
All right?
Okay.
Okay. Dustin, do you have anything else?
No, sir.
And, we're posted for Monday?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Get ready, Will.
Okay.
All right, we stand adjourned.
Recording stopped.
Thanks for the annoying noise.